Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Tammy and today we're going to talk about 2021 goals. Let's get started. So today is going to be pretty much a chatty video. This might be a good video for you to play while you're putting dinner together or driving to work in the car. I don't know about you, but my work schedule just changed again. I'm going to be working from home a lot more for at least the next few weeks. So as always, everything I'm about to say is always has the potential to be affected by the circumstances of the world. But I really wanted to dig into the new year with a new set of goals, and I really tried to make goals that were in areas that I felt like I had some control over. And basically, if world circumstances stayed like they are for the entire year, these were still goals that I felt like I could work on for the most part. If you're new here, you may not know, but I use the MakseLife goal setting and weekly planner all-in-one planner as my main planner. In the planner world, you may know of people who are just using one planner, who are very functional, not very decorative. That's basically how my budgeting planner is. And you might know of people more like me who have a huge planner stack planned for use in this year. And today what I wanted to do was really focus on the goals. So if you're looking for more information about the actual planner that I'm using, I'll link a video here in a card above. Let's see, in a card above. But also just know that I'll have more videos coming out this week about each of the planners that I'll be using to reach some of these goals. So let's go ahead and dig into the 8 areas in the MakseLife goal setting system and what my goals are for those areas. I will have pictures of each of the goal setting pages on my Instagram account. I'm there most days, so come join me at Tammy Skipper on Instagram. And one of my goals for 2021 is to start using my blog again. Not only do I have a blog, I have 2. I have a blog that I used to use for years that was primarily for family, turned into kind of a publishing blog. But I don't really use that one anymore. So anyway, hopefully there will be a blog post going up soon. Once that is published, I will have it linked down below as well. But in these 8 categories, the first category is personal. And for me, I really like that Sierra included a list of areas, topics, suggestions, things to think about in each area. It's built right into the planner. But for me, this category is going to be fairly simple. So for personal, the area is really about creativity. It is about a reading goal for me, but also just creating, being more artistic and really just building up that area of my life. So I have 3 goals in this category. The first is to create art with photography, painting, paper crafts, which will include my planners, fabric, and more, and to do one of those things every single week. Planning is kind of a given, so that's not really going to count. I really want to make a concerted effort to create time for these activities and to create that mental boost that I get from doing those activities. So creating art weekly is basically goal number 1. Then I want to create a schedule to utilize my Wild University membership. I'm excited to say at the time that I'm filming this video in early January, I've already completed the major and the minor. They were kind of like boost topics for me. I love the instructors, but basically these are things that I was already doing, and so it was just very easy for me to go through them quickly. And then the third goal is to create daily routines for reading books I own or I can borrow. So basically, I am trying not to buy any books in 2021. But I have so many books, you guys. I have books on my shelves, books on my Kindle, and I really do want to read a lot of them. And so I am just going to work through that. My goal is really to read at least 50 books this year. I have done more than that many years in the past. And so basically none of the goals in this category of those 3 things are a stretch goal for me. They may be for you. And so if this starts to sound like too much or overwhelming to you, please just use it for inspiration and not for comparison. Let's move to category 2. Category 2 is fun and recreation, and this is also an area that I tend to just let go. It's not that I don't want to have fun, but for me, one of the big things I like to do in this category is travel. And right now, I don't want to count on that being the thing that's going to check off this category for me for 2021. So I have 3 things listed in the fun and recreation section in my 2021 goals. The first one is to create habits around outdoor activities to enrich my other goals around health and family. So basically, I want to get back outside and to do it with my family and to do it for my fitness. Then the second goal is to create a list of dates and do 1 or more each month. So my husband and I are at a place in our lives where, while our youngest still lives at home right now, she just graduated college this last summer and is working full-time remotely from home. And basically, in a normal world, she would have moved to where her company is located at the accepting of that job, and we would officially be empty nesters, like permanently empty nesters. Everybody self-employed or sufficiently employed, not needing us for financial support. So she is home for now, but I want to be very intentional about that time in that area of our life. And my husband's real interests are outdoor things, not a lot of people, and he's always been that way. So I think it'll be fun for us to come up with things that we can do together that are really just things that we like, that don't have anything to do with the kids. Then the third goal in this area is to create 2 or 3 itineraries for trips to take with my husband. Now, again, I love to travel and I would love to plan a lot more detail and a lot more trips, honestly. These may be as simple as going just within a couple hours of where we live, taking the boat and getting out to a different body of water. So if you're not familiar, we live in Florida and we did get a small used boat in 2020 and we're really enjoying it. In fact, I'm home working on this today while they are out on the boat, even though it's January. And so we just basically want to take a couple of trips at least, and that's one of the goals. As I mentioned, there are 8 goal categories. Let's move to number 3. Number 3 is work and learning. I do have a full-time day job in the accounting and finance industry, and I really only have one goal that's specifically for that, which is to complete a certification program that I started at the end of 2020. I have a year to complete it, but I'm like almost halfway through already in just a few sessions, so I'd like to finish that actually in Q1. Then the next 2 goals have to do with you guys, this community, and the fun that I have been having on YouTube, Instagram, and so on. And that is to create consistent and engaging content for you, my online community. And by doing this, I want to complete 12 key improvements. So this is going to include things like taking some Skillshare classes, learning better video editing techniques. I would love right now to be kind of flipping back and forth between the overhead view and me chatting with you. And that's just going to be a skill that I've got to improve on in order to deliver that for you. Then the third goal in this category is to create a list of educational resources to use. So things like Skillshare, working with my friend Jen LaForge. She does consulting for YouTube clients, and so I'm definitely planning on using her services this year, things like that. The fourth area in the MakseLife system is family and relationships. Given, again, the circumstances of the world right now, I am focusing on kind of our immediate family. We are still trying to figure out some things with extended family, but basically the number 1 goal is to create family memories with trips to see our kids and our grandchildren. So for right now, that's probably not something that's going to happen in, I don't know when it's going to happen. If we were all able to isolate for a period before we saw each other, we might be able to do something like that. I'm not really sure. Anyway, but that's a goal that we have for 2021 that I have. And then my second goal is to create confidence, building opportunities for our daughter as she moves to full independence. So basically, as I mentioned, she has started her first career position. Normally she would have moved to where the company is located to start that work. They're completely remote right now, but they anticipate bringing people back sometime in 2021 to work. So she will need to move, and we just want to help build her confidence around managing her finances, how to manage her own place. While she lived in an apartment during college for a couple of years, she had roommates. So she really didn't have to take care of the whole unit by herself, just things like that, just working on those skills. And that's just going to really be a matter of how we go about our daily lives, including her in the activities that we're doing and putting responsibility on her while she's here. And the third goal is what I mentioned kind of at the beginning, where we do want to create time. I want to create time for connecting with our extended family and friends. We can't keep going if we need to stay apart and stay socially distanced from each other most of the time or for extended periods. We've got to find other ways to get connected and to do it more consistently. So that's about that goal. Okay, we're halfway through the categories, and so far I've had 3 kind of mini goals within each of the 4 categories. So that's already 12 goals technically for 2021. But I want to remind you that for me, a lot of this was things that I was already doing, and I'm either just trying to get more consistent about something I was already doing, or it's something that is kind of just a little baby step up from what we were doing. And I'm not thinking they're going to be huge stretch goals, basically. Those are coming. Let's talk about that. Health and wellness. If there is one area of my life that I had to say I was focused on for 2021 and one goal that I had to pick, like of all the things that I'm doing, this is really it. At the end of 2019, going into 2020, I was finishing training for a 10K at Disney for Princess Weekend. I was almost done with the training. I was consistently working out minimum 3 days a week. A lot of weeks I was working out 5 days a week with a variation of running training days and then actual strength training days at a gym with a trainer. And I did my race weekend. I came home. I was sick for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. And then about a week later, everything went into lockdown. I have not felt comfortable even when the gym reopened using the gym. And I basically dropped everything in the summer. So it's time to prioritize that. So while this is a stretch goal, it's really a stretch goal to put together things I have done over the years at different seasons and really bring them all together and make them a priority. Going into 2020, I did not even set a goal in this area about how much to work out, what type of workouts I wanted to do, eating, other than just, to create more healthy dinners at home, if you saw my 2020 wrap-up video. And so basically, I am sort of going from 0 to 100 in this category, but I'm doing it knowing that I've done these things in the past. So I hope that helps you understand why this may be a great goal for me and still a stretch goal for me, but not necessarily something you need to compare for yourself. If I had to wrap this goal up into one summary of the goal, it is to create a holistic health for myself, my mind, my body, my soul. And I want to do that using the 3 other goals that I have listed underneath that on my goal setting sheet. The number 1 way I want to do that is to create a schedule for exercise that enables me to be ready for a 5K at any time. So as I mentioned, I had set my goal in 2020 to run a 10K under my goal time, which I did. Very exciting. And so to be ready to do a 5K, which for me is alternating running and walking, and to be ready to do that at any time, that's basically the physical state that I want to get in. That is much more important to me than exactly what the number on the scale is, but I know that I do want to lose weight, and I know that that will happen as I do this. The next thing is to create and track my health goals in my health planner. Make sure you stay tuned later this week. I will be putting a video up going over how I'm using a MakseLife horizontal as my health planner and a little bit about why I'm not incorporating everything about that into my main planner. Then finally, I have create nutritious meals at home and supplement for my deficiencies. I just had an extensive blood panel and health lab workup done, and got a lot of clarity about what I have deficiencies in and what I need to work on with my specific nutrition. So I really want to support that through the new year. The next category is spiritual and personal growth. And in this category, I have one goal. Create a daily habit of reading scripture while reading the entire Bible in chronological order with our church. I originally set this goal for 2020, but I didn't have a good plan. I didn't have a resource to do it with, and I had no accountability. It turns out it worked out just fine. I used a lot of my Write the Word journals for 2020, and I'm really glad that I did. It enabled me to really work through what we were going through as well as everything that was happening in the world for 2020. So I'm not sad about that at all, but I was so excited when our church decided to basically offer for everyone to read through the Bible chronologically, and each week the sermon will be related to the area that we have read for the week. So if you're interested in that, just send me a message. Instagram, again, is the best place to catch me, and I can give you a link where you can watch those videos online, or if you want information about the schedule, I'll have that in the description below. One thing I should add about reading the entire Bible in a year, I'm probably going to do a whole separate video on this, whether it's about reading the Bible or your faith document for your faith, or even just something else that just sounds like, yeah, that sounds like a nice goal, but I probably could never do it. I have actually read the entire Bible at least 3 times before, and 2 of those times I did it in 90 days. There's also a schedule for that. I did not do an in-depth study at that time, but basically I have read the entire Bible before, and so to do it over the course of a year is, again, not a stretch goal for me, and so I'm excited to go through that. So we talked about physical health being a stretch goal area for me, but one of the other areas that's definitely going to be a stretch goal is our financial category, and we have a lot of goals in this category. Number 1, we are going to create a debt payoff schedule for 2021 to complete our debt payoff that we have scheduled for 2021, to do that portion by June. We will have some remaining debt, including our mortgage, so this is not a Dave Ramsey exactly plan. This is what we have prioritized, what we want paid off, and what we're willing to live with, and so on. The second goal is to create a fully funded emergency fund. Again, this is not specific for any particular financial teacher's plan, but this is what we are deciding our expenses for 6 months, what is important to us to have, and then to have that fully built up. And we are partway there, and I have more information about what we're going to be doing to reach that savings goal coming in my budget planner video later this week. The third goal is to create automation to invest 15% of our income. We actually would like to be investing more than that. When my husband was in the military for 20 years and we were young and the kids were growing up, we did not have a lot of extra cash, and so we basically feel like we are very behind on our retirement planning, and this is a priority for us going forward. Along with that is I want to keep tweaking my financial planner to be the type of notebook that myself or my husband, or God forbid something happened to both of us, that could just be picked up and someone would know what to do, what bills are coming, when they need to be paid, how they're paid if they're on automatic payment, and so on, just all in one. And then the final goal also moved over from 2020, and that is to update all of our legal documents like our will and getting all of those types of things refreshed. If you're still with me, we are on to the last category, and that is environment in the MakseLife goal setting system. And I basically have a couple of really big goals, but I think they're going to be more straightforward systems. So the first one is basically to create time and routines to declutter and simplify our entire home. That doesn't sound like a simple goal when I say it like that, but we have been through decluttering and purging multiple times in the last few years, and so it's kind of like we've been peeling back the layers of the onion and we are down to the core. If or when we decide we want to downsize from the home we're in, As I mentioned, we are approaching the empty nest stage of life. And so basically, I just want to get us more ready for that and really evaluate what we have left and in the process kind of, get it more organized. Now, two tools that I'm going to use to make that happen. One is a checklist that I got from Making Lemonade. Let me see what the name of that website is. Yes, Making Lemonade. So go to her blog, and she has a KonMari decluttering checklist. It is 2 pages, and I just printed this about 83–84% on a regular letter size page and cut it out and put it down in my notes section of my MakseLife planner. So it has all the different categories, and I'm just going to work through that as I go through the planner that I'm going to talk about next. So my final goal, and the second of 2 in the environment category, is to create daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonal cleaning and home project goals using my 2021 home planner. I will link in a card above the home planner that I purchased this fall from Passionate Penny Pincher, and I've already started using it, and you guys, it is so simple. I am not trying to check off every single box every single day, although that would basically be an ideal week, an ideal month, and an ideal quarter. But it is a great tool. There's plenty of room to basically keep track of your daily and weekly tasks and maintenance, and then there's room for home project ideas. There's room for a decluttering list. You can put all of that together. But one of the things I love is every single week there's a focus. So for the first week of January, the focus is the pantry. And I will basically use the KonMari checklist and go through the areas in the order that's in the home planner. So I hope that makes sense. Again, I've got a video on the home planner, so you can check that out. And I'm just really excited about having our home truly go onto maintenance mode and a maintenance schedule that I am not trying to come up with or reprint every week or write the tasks down every single week in my main planner. That's it, you guys. 2021 goals. I have a lot of them. I hope that you have found this inspirational and helpful. Maybe it's giving you some ideas for some goals, and maybe it's helped you realize that you have some goals that are really not a priority for 2021, and maybe you need to pare things down. Again, I am super excited about this year, and a lot of what I have in here are things that I've done in the past. I just am either trying to get more consistent about them or get back to them. So I am just really looking forward to it. In case you didn't notice, every single one of these started with a keyword, and that is my 2021 word of the year, which is create. I hope that I will be able to be here this year to create encouragement for you and to help you create a life you love. Again, you can find me most days on Instagram at Tammy Skipper. Leave your comments and questions below, and please let me know in the comments one goal that you have for 2021. I'll see you guys soon.